Hi everybody, it's Kathy here and I am joining you with my first page for the 100 Patterned Papers Challenge. So I have done the 100 paper collection and I did do a video which I'll link here for you to go back and check out my choices. And then the first challenge was to use 2 sheets of paper to create one layout. So I'm going to really stretch my 2 sheets of paper today and I'm going to create a layout that is multi-layered but only using the 2 single sheets that I've shown you. So what I've first done is I've cut out a 1-inch frame which I am going to mount the main paper on, which is that striped one. Then with the heart paper I'm going to use that as my backing. So in order to use more of my papers I need to cut out from the striped paper some of that in the middle because I'm needing it to mount my photos and also to add parts of my layout. So once again, now that I've marked it on the reverse side with my white marker so I could see it, I'm cutting out a square. Now that then sets up sort of 2 frames within one. Now what I'm doing is I'm layering up that extra sheet there, and now I have my base. So you can see I did use my black pen to go around each border just to lift it up a little bit and add a little bit of definition. So using the striped paper, which you saw me cut out, I'm now going to make the panel on which the photo will sit. Now, from there, I'm also going to mark in where this photo is sitting, and then I'm going to cut it out a little bit more because I need some more of this to create another panel on the page. So you can see how easy it is to stretch your paper. Now, a lot of people will tell you don't do it. A lot of people will tell you don't gut it. But you can gut it because nobody knows what is underneath the final product. And washi tape is a marvellous thing for reinforcing where you have cut. So I am now using that lighter shade as the first mounting paper for my photo, and this photo is of my daughter and my son-in-law, and I am making this for their album, and this goes in beautifully. So now I am up to my 5th layer on this layer just using 2 sheets of paper. Now, if you're tight for paper or you're tight for budget, this is a great way of extending your stash. I used to have to do this all the time because that's all I could afford was 2 pieces of paper a week, and I used to have to stretch it as much as I could to get some layouts. And so here we go, and you put your washi tape, as I said, to the back, and I have this gold washi tape that I have lots and lots of that I use as my backing tapes. Now here I am showing you how I use the black pen to go around the outside of the pieces, and this allows it to have a little bit of definition without actually overpowering the layout. So now you can see that each of those panels are defined. But I've now taken another piece of that cardstock, piece of the paper that I've cut out, and I am creating a journal pattern. Now I have used a scrap die that I've made from another layout a long time ago. It's been sitting on my desk forever, and it happens to be in the goldy bronze, which is perfect. So that's going to frame where the journaling will go. Now this is a journaling panel, and as I said, this is my daughter and my son-in-law. I'm not going to journal this page. I'm going to leave it for them to journal. They can do that when they get it. There will be journaling panels in all of their layouts for them to build their story on their pages. So I'm just going to leave that blank for the time being. I also pulled out of my stash of pre-made things that I have sitting on my desk these die cuts that marry nicely with the layout. So I've got 2 of the big chocolate brown flowers, which is great because they marry beautifully with the colours on the page. And then I had that smaller one in the browns that I cut and used ink to add definition. And then I had this dangling heart, which is perfect because it's a maroony colour and it adds that little bit extra something to the layout that goes to the top and draws your eye up the photo or down the photo, depending which way you're following. I then found that I had 2 punched chocolate brown leaves, which work beautifully because they sit in nicely behind that flower cluster there. And I am going to do something with my corners of that second mat because I want it to stand out a little bit more, and I just think it needs a little bit extra to finish it off. So I'm putting in 2 corner photo, faux photo corners, and that's just finishing off that side of the layout because of the clusters that are there. Now I have also found in my stash these birds that I previously wet embossed and used the heat gun to emboss, and I'm just adding those as a little extra feature on the layout, and they just sit there as well, like 2 lovebirds. So that's how easy it is to pull together all your leftovers and make into a layout. On my Cricut, I then used the leftover of my paper that I had cut out from behind my photos, and I have cut the title, and the title says Soulmates Forever. So I'm just going to lay it in, and as you can see, I'm a bit of a Gumby, a bit awkward with the tweezers. I really don't get the hang of it. I see other people use them so well, but I maybe just need to practice more. I've got a new Nuvo glue, thank goodness, because it's my favourite and easier to use and manipulate. So I'm using that to go in behind the fine die cut of these letters. Now to finish it off, I still think it needs a little something to pick up the maroon or the maroony pink there, plus my flowers need something in the middle. So I'm going to use some sequins, which I'm just going to have a go at scattering and then placing. People do that so well, and I struggle with the scatter. Do you struggle with scattering with sequins? I love when people scatter it. It looks so real and looks so organic and authentic. And then I do it and I think, oh dear, what a mess. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to flow, and here you go. You can see I'm awkward with the tools again. And I'm just going to stick each piece down where it landed, or pretty close to where it landed. And that's going to be the scatter of my sequins on my layout, which is pretty unusual because normally it is very formalized and very placed. But with this scattering, I'll just let it go where it fell and place it where it fell. And that's building that randomness. So that's basically it, although I do look over here and I think, oh, it needs a little bit more, so I scatter a few more on, and I just add those to the final layout. Now, I am quite pleased with how this has turned out. It is only 2 sheets of paper, remember. The challenge was to use 2 sheets of paper to create a layout. And that's all I've done, is use 2 sheets of paper to create a layout that is multi-layered. I have added sequins and I have added some homemade embellishments with die cuts, plus the title, but the title came from the paper as well. So there you can see how quickly this came together. I've just added in the date and where we were so that that is on there. And as I said, that panel there is for journaling, and my daughter and my son-in-law can journal that because in their layout, in their album this year, I will give them a white pen and a black pen for them to add their journaling on their layouts because it's their memories. Now to finish off, I'm just going to add a few doodle dots here onto the die cut flowers, and that adds some detail and some definition to those petals. It's a great way of building up your die cuts so that they look more than just flat pieces of cardstock. You will notice that I also inked around the petals, and they were done, I believe, with picket fence. So that's that white shadowing. And it's just all these little fine things that you can add to your layouts that can add that little bit extra. So I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out. 2 pieces of paper, and I've got multiple layers. Don't forget to fluff up your flowers. You don't want them flat. It's a good way of creating that dimension. There you can see it's all come together. I have that die cut there. I have all those layers. See how many layers from 2 pieces of paper. This is how you can stretch your stash if you're limited on stash, or you've only got limited papers and you want to create a detail paper using the ones that you have. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I've done something for you to give me a thumbs up. Thank you to all my subscribers who keep coming back. This 100-page of pattern paper is going to be a great challenge. Stuff getting out of my stash that I've had for ages. Don't forget to check back next time for the new layout. Here's my next recommendation for you. Happy scrapping until next time. See you soon.